Sun Life Financial is proud to host this roundtable on healthy workplace cultures in partnership with the HR Reporter. It's part of our thought leadership platform, The Conversation, which brings together leaders and experts to deliver the best thinking in group benefits both inside and outside our organization. There's more focus than ever before on the importance of a healthy culture. That includes strong wellness programs, good harassment policies, and effective leadership. A toxic workplace culture carries a very high price tag, but there are fixes available. It's just a matter of doing the work. That was one of the conclusions reached at a recent roundtable discussion moderated by Canadian HR Reporter in partnership with Sun Life. In this video, the first of a three-part series, we talk about defining, measuring, and understanding the impact of a toxic or healthy workplace.
You know, it's interesting. I think if I look at overall the organization and how I would define a really healthy organization, healthy culture would be one where every single employee can come to work and do their absolute best every single day. So it's important that the organization, the culture enables that. And that looks different, obviously, for every other organization. But it's making sure that we do what we say we're going to do every single day, and we have the right kind of practices in place, the right kind of programs in place, we have the right kind of leaders in place to enable that and make sure that people do their best.
I would think that a toxic culture is often characterized by people's inability to speak directly to each other respectfully and assertively. So problems become bigger and bigger, and the toxicity just becomes embedded in the culture, and it often are things that could be resolved with a little conversation early on, either person to person or from an alert supervisor or manager. So the toxicity, the building of the layers of it often happens because there isn't that capacity or that empowerment.
We see organizational health as a partnership, and really having leaders that are developed, enabled, empowered to create an environment that's healthy both physically, socially, and emotionally for our employees. Yeah, so in our organization, we look at a number of measurements. We will conduct health risk assessments, which would consist as well of business culture index to give us an indicator as we use some of the factors related to Dr. Martin Shane and the psychological safety factors in relation to that. We look at our disability data, we look at our absence trends, we look at our employee engagement survey data, which we do on an every couple of years basis as well. And we look at ad hoc pulse surveys to understand what people are thinking, feeling, because as we describe culture as what people say and do, we want to get a pulse on that on a regular basis. So we use very quantifiable and in some cases qualitative data as well to assess where we are from an organizational health standpoint.
Having defined healthy and unhealthy cultures, the conversation turned towards how to identify if there are problems with the culture in your organization.
Engagement surveys are absolutely crucial to try to get that information to understand about culture, but there's other ways that you can really hear from it on an informal basis. And, there's things like, I know we all don't like it in HR, but there's sites like Glassdoor where, employees will write their own comments about the organization. And, that's very telling, though. It does help you understand what the perceptions are, what other organizations are doing, and what people are feeling. I think that's one good piece of information. Exit interviews, taking a look at exit interviews and understanding, are we doing what we say we're going to do? Is our culture living up to what we think it is? So it's that reality check that helps you understand and validate.
And I think there's more indicators that you can look in internally before people are leaving, or before you have the turnover, before you have people dishing your organization on external websites. So if you have a clear beacon as to this is acceptable, this is what a great leader looks like in this organization, this is how they behave, this is how they don't behave. We embed that into our people systems and processes, so like our talent management reviews, our performance management assessments, and we can start to get some leading indicators on how our leaders are doing on those. And actually educate our talent on how they can measure their own behavior.
And I think, some of the effects of a toxic culture can range from presenteeism, a high level of presenteeism combined with absenteeism, which then impacts productivity. You will see health and safety issues. You could get into workplace violence issues as you go down that violence continuum from, the bullying type behaviors. And again, we've talked a lot about behaviors, but a lot of it is associated with behaviors in terms of what we say and what we do. So productivity, employee engagement, distractions, injuries, a toxic workplace will also impact your brand, will impact your customers, your vendors. You talk about Glassdoor, and absolutely as an example of employees can go out, the conversations that may or may not be happening on Facebook, so it can have significant impacts on the brand that you want to create for your company.
But the issues that I see in the context of a toxic culture are twofold. One, lots of performance management issues, and of course management time overutilized on that process. And secondly, probably the biggest scourge of the Canadian workplace right now, and most of my clients would find, is excessive absenteeism claims, particularly stress claims. And some of them are real, and that bespeaks much, and some of them aren't real, and that also bespeaks much.